Greetings and salutations. I'm PopCultureKen, and before we get into today's story, I wanted to welcome you to a brand new series on the channel. This is the Pop Culture Soup Kitchen. This is the section of the channel where, honestly, well, it's kind of like that line from Forrest Gump.
Life was like a box of chocolates.
You never really know what you're going to get. Some days you'll get something warm and comforting. Some days you'll get something kind of weird. Some days you'll get something you didn't even know you were hungry for. But it's all pop culture served up just for you. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta wear this hat whenever I do the series. Because, I mean, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, you might be on the wrong channel, but I'll let it slide for now. This is my Judge Smales hat, a little nod to Caddyshack because the soup kitchen needed a mascot. And also because, well, as Rodney Dangerfield so eloquently put it,
"Oh, this is the worst looking hat I ever saw. Well, you buy a hat like this, I'll bet you get a free bowl of soup, huh?"
What do you think, Rodney?
"Oh, it looks good on you, though."
Thanks. So, welcome to the soup kitchen. Let's get into it. With this being the place where I serve up pop culture goodness, it only felt right to start by honoring someone who served us an enormous feast of pop culture for nearly 60 years. Rob Reiner. Sometimes he was in front of the camera, more often he was behind it. Rob Reiner was a powerhouse. Creative force who played a major role in some of the most iconic movies and television shows we came to know and love. This is my tribute to one of my all-time favorites, a man we lost not long ago. Pop culture history isn't always shaped by the loudest people in the room. Sometimes it's shaped by the person who's quietly there, watching, learning, and absorbing. Rob Reiner was one of those people. He didn't just make movies we quote endlessly. He was present time and time again at moments when pop culture shifted direction. Sometimes you saw him, sometimes you hear him, and sometimes he's just off camera making everything work. Before he became a director, Reiner was just another working actor, the kind who'd appear unexpectedly. He'd show up all over television in the 1960s in shows like Batman.
Batman?
Yes, Batman. The Andy Griffith Show, Gomer Pyle, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Partridge Family, The Odd Couple, The Rockford Files, just to give you a sense of how much he got around. Everything changed, though, in 1971 with my all-time favorite sitcom, All in the Family, although not in the way Reiner expected. He originally auditioned for the pilot and didn't even get the role. It wasn't until producer Norman Lear saw him in another project, a short-lived drama series called The Headmaster, that Reiner was invited back to audition again. And that time, he nailed it. Even then, Reiner thought All in the Family was, quote, too hip for the room, unquote. He figured it would just last one season, 2 at the most, and took the job expecting to return to what he really wanted to do, writing and directing. Instead, he played Michael Meathead Stivic for 8 seasons, winning 2 Emmy Awards for Best Supporting Actor along the way. This scene always destroys me.
You've been like a father to me. I'm gonna miss you.
Wow, listen, I'm gonna, hey, listen.
Here's a cool footnote from those early years. On his way to the studio one day, Rob picked up a hitchhiker, a young aspiring actor named Mike Evans. They talked. Rob asked him what he did. Evans admitted he was an aspiring actor, but had very little experience. Reiner helped arrange an audition. It reportedly didn't go well, but according to director John Rich, there was just something about him. Mike Evans went on to play Lionel Jefferson on All in the Family and The Jeffersons, and later co-created Good Times. All of it starting with a ride from Rob Reiner. Another hitchhiking story involving Rob is a blink and you'll miss it appearance in 1979's The Jerk. Yes, I just heard your collective, Reiner wasn't in The Jerk. Oh, but yes, he was. He's the first person to help Steve Martin's Naven on his journey. Yep, that's him driving the truck.
Okay.
Around the same time, Rob's father, Carl Reiner, a pop culture giant in his own right, handed his son a book written by his close friend William Goldman. That book, The Princess Bride. Rob loved it, and the story stayed with him quietly for years. We'll come back to this.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!
Rob Reiner's true pivot came with This Is Spinal Tap. Originally slated to appear as a member of the band, but they said he didn't look good in spandex, Reiner instead became the film's documentarian, Marty DeBurgi, while also directing the movie itself.
Hello, my name is Marty DeBurgi.
Even the name Marty DeBurgi was a playful homage to some of Reiner's favorite filmmakers. Spinal Tap didn't just succeed, it rewired comedy to 11. And more importantly, it earned Reiner something far more valuable than laughs: trust. What followed was an astonishing 9-year run. 1984, This Is Spinal Tap. 1985, The Sure Thing. 1986, Stand By Me. 1987, The Princess Bride. 1989, When Harry Met Sally. 1990, Misery. 1992, A Few Good Men. 7 films, 7 hits. Let's slide back to Stand By Me. When Rob Reiner screened the film for Stephen King, King reportedly sat in silence, visibly shaken, before leaving the room. When he came back, he told Reiner it was the best adaptation of his work he'd ever seen. Trust earned. We know that because King would only sell the rights to Misery if Reiner agreed to direct. And the rest is history. That brings us to The Princess Bride. William Goldman was hesitant to let anyone direct the film until he saw This Is Spinal Tap. Reiner got the job. His fingerprints are everywhere, even in places you'd never expect. The growls and snarls of the ROUSs? That's Rob. For him, this wasn't just another movie. It was a story he'd been carrying since his days on the set of All in the Family. 1989 brought When Harry Met Sally, and my personal favorite rom-com of all time. The married couples telling their stories? Those were real stories Reiner collected over the years and had actors recreate. The voice counting down the new year? That's Rob again. The film drew heavily from his own post-divorce life, and originally Harry and Sally weren't even supposed to end up together. But during production, Reiner met his future wife, Michelle. He was so smitten that he changed the ending, wanting Harry and Sally to find love too. Knowing that just makes the movie hit a little harder. Then came the film Misery. One of my favorite bits of trivia: in Stephen King's novel, Paul Sheldon loses his foot by an axe. Reiner changed the scene to avoid excessive gore. After seeing the final cut, James Caan reportedly turned to Reiner and said, "You're a sick fuck." And finally, A Few Good Men. The film marked the first produced screenplay by Aaron Sorkin and the birth of what would become his trademark walk and talk. One scene was originally written as a pretty static office scene. Reiner suggested moving the dialogue into a hallway, adding rhythm and motion and just, life. Sorkin ran with it. That simple suggestion became a defining stylistic signature for the rest of his career. Sometimes influence looks like invention, and sometimes it looks like a quiet nudge. 9 years, 7 films, 7 hits. Damn. Reiner didn't just make movies I love. He helped create the spaces where those movies could exist. Sometimes in front of the camera, often behind it, but always in the room. And once you notice him, you start seeing him everywhere. When Jean Stapleton passed away in 2013, Reiner stepped onto the Emmy stage and delivered a tribute to both her and Carol O'Connor, one that left millions watching with tears in their eyes, myself included.
This past May, death came to Jean Stapleton. And when I heard the news, I think all of us who knew Jean felt the way Archie did when he said goodbye to Edith. You had no right to leave me that way without giving me just one more chance to say I love you. They're both gone now, but forever, they will always be all in the family. Carol, Jean, I love you.
It was heartfelt, it was gracious, and it was pure Rob Reiner. Mr. Reiner, Thank you for the stories. Thank you for the laughter. Thank you for being there, always. Rest in peace, my friend.
I'm gonna miss you.